Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day, another week, the September edition of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Nintendo Switch leak revealed that it has the first game, PlayStation 5 Graphics. We're going to be talking about Red Dead Redemption 3 rumors confirmed by Rockstar partner company, Take-Two. And we're going to talk about the Actors Union announces plans to expand the strike vote to video game studios. So those are the three main topics we're going to be talking about today on today's show. If you like this type of information or content, please make sure you hit that like button down below. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like to go above and beyond that. You can also become a member as little as $5. So, good stuff. We'll also talk about, obviously, Starfield. Lots of shit's going down with Starfield. People complaining that are not even playing the game, and then other people I kind of think are nitpicking. Not to say, obviously I come from the movie background. I nitpick on movies all the time, but I think a lot of people are just jumping on the bandwagon and not playing the games for themselves to actually see what the game is doing. So regardless, that's all what's on today's show. What's going on, Dave Rose? What's going on, Dolphin? What's going on, Soups? Akuta Papa? How's everyone doing this morning? Give me 1 second. I just got to fix my... I don't know why my iPad is not letting me hear. What's happening here? Oh, you know what it is? That piece is dead. All right. We're good. You're good. All right. Good morning, Dave Rose. Morning, Soups. Happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day. Good Papa says, have a good day. I'm going to be kind of in and out this week. All right, Good Papa. Appreciate you stopping in. What's going on, boss? All right, so let's start off with the Nintendo Switch leak here. Okay. Pause this. So Nintendo Switch says that advertisement. Nintendo Switch says leak reveals first game PlayStation 5 graphics. A new rumor, the Nintendo Switch 2 rumor has surfaced. Starting off great. Online revealing a potential launch game and a PlayStation 5 graphics. Now, a new rumor / leak about Nintendo Switch has teasing. Why do I keep saying suffered? Surfaced, teasing that console boosts a PlayStation 5 graphics. The Nintendo Switch 2 has yet to be announced or even confirmed, but it's easily heavily rumored, and according to most of the rumors, scheduled to release next year. And if this is to happen, this is a good chance it will be revealed this year. Now, before we get official details on potential Nintendo Switch successor, we have unofficial details. Whether they are accurate or not, we don't know, but the details are making the rounds. Now, the rumor begins claiming that Nintendo Switch 2 dev kits have been out in the wild for a while. In other words, developers have been set development models for consoles and have been working on games and ports for the system. Now, the rumor adds the console uses a new cartridge format and backwards compatibility and has a new camera feature. The rumor continues by claiming the Final Fantasy VII Remake is being ported to Nintendo Switch, adding the port took no time. To this end, it supposedly could be a launch game for the console. Final Fantasy VII Remake is obviously a PlayStation exclusive, so the fact that it could be coming to Nintendo Switch 2 is surprising. Now, what's even more surprising, though, is the rumor that claims that Final Fantasy VII Remake looks and runs like PlayStation 5 game on Nintendo Switch 2 dev kit, suggesting that the Switch successor is packing some serious heat. If this is true, it may very well be the more expensive side. Now, unfortunately, the rumor is not complete with any media or console for Final Fantasy VII Remake running on the system. Now, what is here, though, should be taken with a grain of salt. This is not official information, or while the source, an anonymous leaker that goes by the name I'm a Hero 2, has proven reliable in the past, it doesn't change the fact that everything here is unofficial. Further, if it is accurate, it's also subject to change that may over time render inaccurate. At the moment of publishing this, the rumor and / leak has not drawn any type of comment from Nintendo or other implicated parties here, Square Enix. If this changes, it'd also be sure to update the story according to the meantime. It's always feel free to leave a comment down below. Right, so this comes from Comic Book Gaming. Now, I've said this leading up to this rumor, right? I had my own kind of 2 cents opinions on this because way back when Microsoft was doing the CMA thing over in Europe, They're pulling like contracts and they're saying, look, we're signing deals with Nintendo, and everyone's like, who cares? Right? Who cares if they get Call of Duty on Nintendo? No one's playing Call of Duty on Nintendo. And I was like, well, what about if the next Nintendo that's coming out is going to be like a high-powered system? I then also, from that point, on a couple shows after, I would assume, maybe I'm like a month after, we're talking like 8-9 months ago, I said, well, what about if the system itself is like a portable unit, but then when you lock it into the base, because there was leaks about the airport that they saw the Nintendo prototype or whatever it was, they said it was about the size of an Xbox. And I was like, well, what about if it's a Nintendo portable that plugs into the system and then it does like PlayStation 5 graphics? I also, or I said next-gen graphics is what I said. Then I also continued and said, Nintendo doesn't have to beat PlayStation 5 or Xbox with graphics. They're going to go on to the next thing. Nintendo just comes up to their level. And they'll be, that's immaculate for Nintendo, right? Nintendo, look at the graphics that you're playing right now compared to if they brought it up to the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X level, where PlayStation 6 and Xbox whatever are going to go up to the next level, and then PlayStation's back at this current gen system. So their current gen system will be as powerful as the last gen systems, but for Nintendo, that's like leaps and bounds, because Crazy Uncle Nintendo doesn't have to go with the rest of the business, right? Of the industry. They can do what they want. So it's very interesting to see that this is taken with a grain of salt, that Nintendo Switch 2 could have the graphic power of a PlayStation 5. And if that happens, we're talking about graphics are going to only go up to a certain level, right? We had a report about 4 months ago talking about problems with the AAA industry because AAA games are going to hit a wall. This comes from a developer, I believe that was on, was it Witcher or Cyberpunk? I forget which one it was. But they were talking about how AAA games were going to hit a wall. They're running straight towards a wall, and they're gonna peak. And what that means is that they can't make them any more prettier than real life, right? Like video games come up to a certain point, and then they're gonna hit. Let's say it looks like real life. Where do you go from there, right? They're running straight towards the wall, and there's going to be a problem with that. So now Nintendo. Right? This is the advantage that PlayStation, Sony had, and Microsoft had over Nintendo, because they had the graphics, they had the power, they had all the stuff. Well, every generation, Nintendo's been getting just a little bit closer, right? Everyone makes a high-end console. They're like, we'll make a portable unit. Everyone makes the switch to a portable unit. Nintendo's like, we're going to come up graphically now. And because Nintendo is a system from birth to death, as I call it all the time, is that Nintendo could see domination come in the future when all of a sudden they have the games that they have the IPs that they have the first-party titles that they have, and now they start bringing the graphics up to the level of the other systems. So we're talking like, I don't know, 20, 30, even, let's say 10, 12 years from now, Nintendo could be the dominator in this industry, because now people that love Nintendo because Nintendo wins in software all the time. They sell the most software than any other system out there. These are facts. Okay. Well, now if they get the graphics up to for the next gen, they can start bringing other people in that stayed away from Nintendo and bought the PlayStation and bought the Xbox, because they didn't want those cartoony graphics and stuff anymore, and the graphics were a little low and the 30 frames per second. But then here's the other side. Does Nintendo go for that high-end side and kind of push back on the player base that they have now? Right? Does the graphics get good like PlayStation 5, but then does that push at the customer base that doesn't care about graphics? They don't care. Maybe they don't actually want the high-end graphics, and they just want the cartoony graphics, so they feel like it's more for kids and whatnot. Do they go that way? Or does Nintendo bring up the graphics, not to make it like realistic, but they bring it up so now you have Mario in the cartoony form, but just more beautiful than it's ever been before? I mean, if you look at Mario Wonder, those graphics look phenomenal for what the game is. So these are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. Do you think Nintendo Switch 2, if the rumors are true, do you think Nintendo Switch 2, or whatever they call it, will be at the graphic level of the PlayStation 5, or just a little bit under PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X? Let me know in the comments section down below. Let's go to live chat to talk about this first topic. Dave Rose says, no way Nintendo is pulling out a console that powerful. Why do you say that, Dave? Why do you say that? Why wouldn't they? Nintendo's always the Gen or 2 specs of graphic wise, so I don't buy it. But let's have a conversation. What about if they do, right? What about if Nintendo finally brings it up to that level? Then what? Right? Dolphin says, Nintendo Wii was very close to the Xbox 360, so I'm hoping that the generation, they finally get it right. But I think they've always been right, Dolphin, right? Crazy Uncle Nintendo doesn't have to go with the industry standards. Jesse Max says, I would see if Nintendo Switch 2 has the same PlayStation 5 SSD, graphic, etc., then good for Nintendo fans. I kind of try to I try to look at it at both sides, right? Jesse, like, does Nintendo fans want the graphics? Now, I understand there's individuals, right? When I say does the Nintendo fans want that, one of you or two of you or three of us might want it, but what's the masses want, you know? You know what I mean? Dolphin says, I just want them to have all the same third-party titles for once. And I think if they bring it up to that graphic standard, I think they might. And think about this, right? Let's just say Nintendo does exactly what they say this rumor says, where they bring it up to the level of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, okay? Not only do they now get the third-party games that never come over to Nintendo, but now they also get the first-party games that no other console gets, and they have the most first-party titles. That would be pretty detrimental to the rest of the industry because they are dominant killers with the first-party titles. Boss says, I mean, they would get there eventually. There's only so much you can keep pushing the bar. Right, boss, but that's what I'm saying. Nintendo makes the sales that they do with the graphics and the gameplay that they have, right? So this is why I say I don't think they go past the PlayStation 5. This is what I've been saying for months. I said I think the next Nintendo will be up to par, maybe just below the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox. I don't think they have to keep up with Microsoft and Sony. Nintendo doesn't have to do that. I agree. I have a Switch in the PC. Use it for Steam / Game Pass. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what Nintendo does. It'll be interesting to see what Nintendo does. Because again, Nintendo's always the quiet guy, right? You don't ever see, right? We always joke around that there's Sony ponies and Xbox. But nobody ever talks about the Nintendo people, right? They're just like, it's Nintendo. They're just over in the corner. No one's paying attention to them. But meanwhile, they're just dominant in the industry. Always have when when they fundamentally have a bad system like the Nintendo Wii U, they still survived. Boss says, here's my devil's advocate. What if they make it on par with other systems or close to it, but then the devs get lazy because now they can depend on third-party games? No, I think the driving factor for Nintendo, it's a good point, boss. But I think here's an article real fast. Let me bring it up, right? Let me bring it up. This might shine a little light on it. Let me find the article because I just found it. Where is it? Now, obviously, this is just the heading, right? This is just the heading. But you saying that kind of sparked it in my head. So it says, Nintendo reportedly has an incredibly high employment intention rate. Meaning, I would think people like working for the company because they probably have, because it's a good working conditions. Now, I didn't read this article yet, but they have incredibly high employee retention rate. Meaning, they probably like working for the company because Nintendo lets them do the stuff. So I don't know if Nintendo is going to get complacent and start making crappy games, right? You got to remember they're not making games for Game Pass. They're still making games for Nintendo. And Nintendo, facts now, sells more software than any other console out there. Magic Dolphin says, I think it's hilarious people don't include it as a real console. Yeah, even in the courtroom, they didn't bring him in. Right? Even in the courtroom, they didn't bring him in. Boss says right now, They have to work their asses off, but the heart and soul is in it. If they don't fail with the shit games, they first party titles keep them alive, and they have a lot of third party games. Yeah, but think about this. Think about, and again, I don't know in my opening of this story. Think about Zelda, but like in a God of War format, like graphically, right? Think about, I don't know how Mario would look because he's a cartoon character, but think about the graphics of a Horizon, a Final Fantasy, a God of War on a PlayStation 5, but now insert the IPs of Mario, Zelda, Star Fox, Sonic. Do you know what I'm saying? And you look at that and go, is that good or bad? Do people want a more realistic looking photo like Mario? I don't know. I think Mario has that charm because I don't think they're going to turn Mario into like a God of War, like real person. I think graphic wise, though, it's going to be like phenomenal if they can bring that up to that level. I think Microsoft and Sony better watch out, because if Nintendo does come up to their graphic fidelity of what it is, there's going to be a lot more Nintendo Switches being sold, whatever that next Switch is called. Because then it's not just then game wise, it's still for kids, right? Well, it's actually for everybody. But then the more hardcore gamer starts to jump into the Switch ecosystem. Sarge said, just woke up, thought I was actually in the Andromeda solar system, running away from the UC because of the contraband briefcase. Sarge and myself are enjoying Starfield. We'll talk about Starfield later in the show after the other two stories. They currently don't get fired after making a game, because after Mario, there's Zelda. After Zelda, there's Metroid. After Metroid, there's Smash Brothers. After there's Pikmin. After that, there's Mario again. Right. But they have plenty of first-party titles, and they're always successful. We'll see how Mario Wonder comes out and what it does, right? That's assuming they have creativity and ability to even do that. As the bar has been so low for so long, the force of devs working and giving the game a God of War kind of game might be too much to ask. Perhaps. I mean, again, we're all, theorizing and stuff. I don't know. I think here's the next question. Do we think it's good for the industry if Nintendo starts to do what the other consoles are doing? I kind of like the diversity of Nintendo from everybody else, right? Because one, I know, right, as an adult, right, when giving a Nintendo Switch to my son, 99% of the games and stuff that are going to be on there, there's not going to be really a violence level as of the other systems, because it's not going to be realistically gory or anything like that. Sure, there's violence inside Nintendo, right? Because you're beating up people and whatnot, but there's not that realistic, like, gruesome stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of makes it more appealing to me as an adult, going, yeah, here, have fun with the Switch. I know there's not going to be anything on there for the most part that's going to be like, Dad, I'm having nightmares or anything like that, right? That's because most of the think of Nintendo as a kid console. Sure. And there are moments of games that are for adults. But like for instance, Resident Evil was on the Wii, or not the Wii, GameCube back in the day. That was gory, right? But Nintendo has that, like I said, 99% of no gore type of stuff. It's just meant for kids. And obviously, each game is its own. When you buy a game for a kid, you want to make sure. But you have more ease of mind going, yeah, here's a Nintendo. Jesse Mack says, Nintendo perhaps wants to push the limits of Switch 2 than the Switch can handle. And they want to make it put into a first Switch. They have to surprise everyone with Switch 2 thoughts. I don't think they do, Jesse. I don't think Nintendo has to surprise anybody. I don't think they have to fundamentally make the Switch 2 super more powerful than the Switch, right? I don't think they have to come up to Sony and Microsoft's level of graphics and fidelity and stuff like that. I think they can do something. Nintendo can always do what they want, always, because they make so much money from software that they dominated for 20 years. right? 15, 20 years by themselves, basically, in the market. So Dolphin says Metroid and Star Fox could definitely do graphics like that. For sure. For sure. Boss says, I honestly think that they make these same type of games, but just a better look. More hardware will be better, allowing them to do more that they currently do. Sure. Absolutely. I mean, look, we're 40 years into the 40 years into the here, let me bring up this. Hold on. Let me bring up right? Nintendo might hit me for this, but whatever. Right? The graphics for Mario, right, are phenomenal for Mario. Right? Like, this looks gorgeous. Now, I know a lot of people look at this and they're like, this is not for me or whatever, right? But the graphics of Nintendo, if they get better and better and they start to look, right? They start to look gorgeous. Like, this is gorgeous in their Nintendo way, right? But then you start making games that are just, I don't know, like maybe photorealistic, and you play a Zelda game like that, or you play a Metroid game like that, or maybe Resident Evil goes back on there and you get those graphics on Nintendo. That's a big deal. You know what I mean? Big Blue Wrecking Crew says, Sergeant Slaughter, hello, 30 friends. What's going on, man? Nice to see you again. Best mushrooms and acid graphics of all time. 476. Yeah, that looks good, but PlayStation 5, Xbox hardware, you can push that even further. Right. And that's what I'm saying, right? Can you imagine just still making side scrollers, but the graphics just get just prettier? Like, I can't even imagine what Nintendo could do with that. What's going on, Eddie? Yeah, and that's the thing I was saying earlier, Eddie. Like, because they have their own charm like this, if they make graphics that are fully up to date, competitive with PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, does that push away people that love that love Nintendo? You know what I mean? I don't know. But the rumors are that Nintendo 2 or Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever it's called could be graphically up to date with PlayStation and Xbox. So we'll see. Boss says, I mean, I'm not 9, so I'm not emptying my tissue box with this, but I can say it looks good. Sure. I mean, come on, boss. All right? You got to admit that the graphics, if you had graphics like this when you were 9 playing a game compared to this, hold on. Let's see. I can't. They don't even have Super Mario Brothers. I can't even find the. There we go. No, I can't find original. Seriously. You type in Super Mario Bros. Everything from, right? You're telling me 9-year-old you wouldn't want the graphics? Okay, wouldn't want the graphic. Look, this was amazing to us. Okay, this was phenomenal to us. If I'm 9 years old and I can have the graphics of this again, like of Wonder, of this, are you kidding me? Like, I had to wait 45 years for this, right? I feel like graphics in video games is comparable to Disney World building a Star Wars land. Okay, at Disney World, I had to wait 45 years, and I don't even like it. Like, I don't even like the park they built. But my son looks at it and goes, "This is amazing." So it'd be interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see what happens with that going in the future with Nintendo. Nintendo's the second next to Sony. Why do you think they need an update to graphics? They're number 2. Well, I don't even think but they're number 2 in console sales, right? And technically they're number 1 in console sales right now, but the Switch is actually like last gen or now this gen. It's like it's been out for 7 years, right? It's been out for 7 years. So they just surpassed Sony's last console. Okay. Now Sony's got PlayStation 5, and Nintendo and Sony are always 1 and 2. They pass each other, and then they pass each other. A couple years later, they pass each other. So I don't think because they're number 2 is why they're doing it. I think they're just doing it because I think it's time. Rose says 44-year-old me wants those graphics. I'm very excited for Wonder Day 1. PlayStation 5 Series X hardware, no telling where you can push that. Well, here's the thing. Let's have a little sidebar conversation, right, boss? A lot of people complain that the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, that there's developers that say they haven't pushed the level what they can do truly on these consoles yet, and then there's other people saying these graphics look shit and they can't push it to the level that it's supposed to be. Like, well, which one is it, right? Like, I don't know, right? I don't know, but it seems like two sides here. Some people say that you can't push it anymore, and other people say that you can push it as far as they still have so much room to push. Then you have a conversation about, well, the PlayStation can keep pushing, but Xbox can't because they're paired with the Series S. Right, 76. Those graphics today, back then, we would have been like, what is this alien technology? Like, we would have been blown away. Blown away. Dupla says the current Switch is technically 7th gen in terms of hardware. Boss says you can't say the game looks shit. I can say, as far as it's something I would want to play at 38, looks shit. Perhaps this is how they're saying that. No idea. I see what you're saying, right? As an older gamer, those cartoony graphics don't appeal to you, right? And that was what I was also saying in the opening of the dialogue. I said pushback. What if the 122 million people have a Nintendo Switch, right? They like the charm of Nintendo. Do you push more people away if you bring the graphics up to like a God of War on a Nintendo Switch, right? Or do you bring in more people, right? I don't know. That's a question and a debate we'll have once we find out what the Switch 2 is or whatever Nintendo's coming out with. What's going on, Travis? These graphics look shit is the easiest way to telling me you don't remember that matters in gaming. You think Sonic and Castlevania were games from childhood. Nope. What do you mean by that? I mean, I love the graphics growing up. What I'm saying is that the graphics, if I had the graphics what they have today back when we were kids, forget about it. We would be blown a freaking way. But I think we're moving up to a certain point, right? Boss's Nintendo fan base really don't seem pushing in on Sony's fan base with God of War Mario or whatever. I see them keeping the current titles and just pushing them extremely high bar. 122 million have a Switch, and at least half of them are adults. Right, Magic. But again, the charm of Nintendo, right? I know it's not just for kids, right? I have a Switch. I play Switch. I know. I'm 45. Okay? But what I'm saying is that are the people, right? Nintendo's like, here's the best way to describe it. Nintendo is nostalgic. What it is, right? Nintendo is nostalgic. All these games that do redos and all these movies and TV shows that come out that try to capture that nostalgia, Nintendo, no matter what it does, is nostalgic, right? And I think, and Eddie Rodriguez is saying, I think Nintendo stays in its own lane. I do. I believe, and Boss is saying the same thing. I think they stay with the graphics high intensity, but they also keep it in that same realm. I don't know if they go photorealistic graphics for their guys. You know what I mean? I think they keep it because Nintendo, that side scroller Mario, man, right? You just look at it and go, oh man, I remember when I played that when I was a kid. I love it. And you play with your kids or you play it by yourself, right? As an adult, and it brings you back to that moment when you're a kid. It's the same story I talk about with my root beer thing, right? I take a sip of root beer, it brings me back when I was 12 years old. You play Mario, it brings you back when you were 8, 6, 4, whatever it is. Nintendo is that nostalgic drug, right? Nostalgia, the memoberries, where you play a game, you play Castlevania, you play Metroid, you play Sonic, you play all, even though Sonic wasn't a Sega back then, but you play all these games and you have that instant moment. Oh man, I used to love this when I was a kid. Like, I could see Starfield Mario game for open world exploration, combining Mario's charm with Minecraft charm, creating its own thing and character. Well, they did that with sort of like Mario 64, right? Just upgrade that to with the cartoony still graphics. Switch 2 will fit with more modern audience with graphics. Perhaps. I want to make it clear though. I don't think the graphics mean they're going to make it photorealism, right? I don't think we're going to get a Mario where he's like God of War type of graphics. I don't think we're going to get that as far as like realistic looking, like a Battlefront 2 type of thing. I do believe we get like a upgraded, really cartoony look, sort of like it would almost look like an animated show, but on the Nintendo Switch. You know what I'm saying? It'd be more cartoony animation style, but it would look so good like a cartoon, not like a video game anymore. Travis says it would stay in its own lane. Why wouldn't they? Ford pickup looks fast when there's nothing else on the road. Nintendo's just makes high-quality, fun games. They don't need 30 patches to be good. Make bright, vibrant, beautiful, and whimsical games all ages love. Right, Rose. It'll be interesting to see what direction they go. It'll be interesting to see what direction they go. Something like Mario 64, but push it even further. Right. I truly think you can have like a cartoon. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you look at it and you're like, is that a TV show or is that a video game? It almost in the feel, and I'm not saying graphically wise, but Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush almost seems like it could be, with the cutscenes and stuff, almost seem like it could be a Saturday morning cartoon type of thing. Travis says, oh, here's a good question, 30. Do you think that would be a bad idea? I play Nintendo for bright and happy. What do you mean to play bright and happy? I play Nintendo for bright and happy. No, I think I see what you're saying. Like, just like whimsical type of stuff. Like, I mean, I play it for Marvel's Avengers, not Marvel's Avengers. Sorry, Ultimate Alliance, Marvel's Ultimate Alliance. Right? I play it for party games. I play it for Mario. I play it for Mario Kart. I play it for Zelda. Not Breath of the Wild. I play it for the old school. What the hell is that one called now? Holy shit! Play it, and I can't even think of it. The one that's like old school Zelda, like the old school above top view. What the hell is that one called? I can't think of it off the top of my head right now. Anyway, blew that point. But I play it for those type of games. I like playing Nintendo for that. Awakening. Thank you, Dolphin. Thank you. Link's Awakening, right? I like that. I love that. Because, again, Nintendo's that nostalgia feel. Nintendo brings you back to that moment. Like, to go super realistic would hurt it, right? Now their reputation is built on being family friendly, and to go to say to unrecorded would hurt them, not help. That was my original. That's what I said in the opening of this whole conversation. I said, is it good to go realistic? And then I pushed back on bad on going realistic type of graphics, right? And again, this is all hypothetical. We have no idea what they're doing. We're taking what Nintendo Switch could potentially be and having a conversation on it. No, but Travis, Dupless is saying that Scarlet and Violet was the most low quality when it came out because it was broken, buggy, and they had to fix it. You're saying that you would disagree because you like Sword and Shield, but Dupless is commenting because they make, I think Dave Rose said they make high-quality games, and Dupless is saying they didn't make high-quality game on Scarlet and Violet. That's what he's commenting on. Sarge says, Nintendo has 6 games they make over and over and over. No one cares. If Sony and Microsoft did this, it would be over for them. Well, they kind of are, right? The Halos, the Gears. The God of Wars, the Horizons, the Uncharted's, the Last of Us. They do the same thing, Sarge. They all have their go-to. While they're making those, they're trying to make the next breakout IP or whatnot. Boss says, I would be shocked it would give the standing ovation if they wanted to do realistic stuff and really came out fighting for all fan base and trying to sit on their iron throne. And yet it still sold great. Again, not implementation of if the game was good quality when it came out, right? Look at Cyberpunk. Look at Battlefield 2042. They all sold really well, but the games were bad when they came out. That's all Dupless was saying, that the quality of Sword and Shield was not there compared to other titles from Nintendo. Even with bad quality, it still sold well. Again, you're taking two conversations. We don't give a shit about the sales. We're talking about the quality of the game when it came out. The facts are that Sword and Shield was the worst quality when it came out. This is kind of a bad analogy, but if they're selling alcohol at Disney, which they do, you're taking away from the core essentials to cater to another mass. But they do sell alcohol at Disney. they do sell alcohol at Disney. I mean, I don't know if they sell it at Disneyland. I know at Disney World they do. They changed it a couple years ago. Fair enough. Wait, they sell alcohol at Disney? Where's this that I missed it? I mean, they have beer. Just started at Disneyland, but people didn't want it. Yeah, they had the same pushback over here, Eddie, but they got over that real fast. That was years ago. So Epcot's been like that. I'm talking Disney World. Disney World. Dupless. Walt didn't want it either. Yeah, I'm sure Walt also didn't want to charge $190 to get into the park, but you know, there's that. I'm sure he didn't want to charge $5 for a soft drink, but there's that. When is Disney going to give ESPN back? Didn't they just sell ESPN? Or they get it back from Spectrum or something like that? There's a whole thing. I forget. All right. Walt also didn't want. That's not true, Travis. That's not true at all. Get that shit out of here with that. Oh, Spectrum still can't show ESPN. That's what it was. Speaking of Cyberpunk, should be on the next gen. It runs very smoothly with the PlayStation 5 rather than PlayStation 4. I'm playing all weekend enjoying Cyberpunk. Well, Jesse, you've been here long enough. You saw me talk about do not get Cyberpunk for the last gen system, right? I said don't get it. I said it 2 years before Cyberpunk came out. As Cyberpunk came out, I said do not get it for the last gen system. Now, obviously, if that's the only system you had, you probably got it for it. But I said don't get it, and here we are 2 years later. It's on the PlayStation 5. It's on the Xbox. It's on PC. It's much better now. They're having the DLC come out, and basically the DLC is now bringing the game up to where it should have been at launch, right? Speaking of badass games, or at least in my opinion, I love Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption 2. So next story we're going to talk about is Red Dead Redemption 3 confirmed by Rockstar parent company. Now, it says, hold on to your cowboy hats because Red Dead Redemption 3 is coming at some point anyway. The critically acclaimed Western series began life with the lesser-known Red Dead Revolver back in 2004. It was, of course, 2010's Red Dead Redemption that elevated the series to legend status. Before 2008's Red Dead Redemption 2 left our jaws on the floor in 2018. We haven't quite managed to pick it up yet, and we're being honest. Okay? It says, given the huge amount of time between Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption 2, 8 years, not to mention that fact Rockstar is currently working on a little game called Grand Theft Auto 6, we probably shouldn't expect to see a third entry anytime soon. Hell, I'd be amazed if it arrived on this generation console. Still, we finally have the official word that the game is coming. Speaking with Jeffrey Virtual Globe Interactive Entertainment Conference last year, the VGC, Zelnick, compared his company major franchise, including Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto, to James Bond, in the fact that you'll just keep going until the heat death of the universe or the series stop making money, whichever comes first. Now, if it really great, it will keep going, the CEO said. I don't know if we saw it, and I just saw the new Bond film. That was great. You should like every franchise to be James Bond. Now, there's a precious few entertainment franchises of any sort that fall into the category, but they do exist. And I think GTA is one of them, and I think Red Dead is one of them as well, or as one of them. NBA is obviously one of them because the game will continue to exist. Now, of course, Zelnick made it clear we're in for a wait. Lest you think GTA 6 and Red Dead Redemption 3 have any chance of dropping in the same decade. It also requires you to be thoughtful and willing to rest the titles so you have a sense of, wow, this is a rare event, Zelnick explained. I've always said that the annualization of non-sporting titles runs the risk of burning out the intellectual property, even if it's good. So we take the time to make something we think is incredibly phenomenal, and we also get to rest titles intentionally so that there's pent-up demand so the title, so it's a special event. And he ain't wrong about that, right? He ain't wrong about that. I mean, he's talked about Red Dead in the past in the same way. He said, well, we wanted to build it up, and same with Grand Theft Auto, right? Now, take that thought process and put it to other games, right? Why does Bethesda not make Elder Scrolls 6 right away? Well, because they're making other games, and then the longer they have it and they wait and then bring it out, the more that comes out. You know what I mean? Like you want it so bad. Red Dead Redemption 1, when it came out, you're like, oh man, I can't wait for a 2. And then 8 years later, they made a 2, and you're like, oh my God, I can't. You know, they sold 54 million units for Red Redemption 2, right? They don't have to make a Red Dead Redemption 3 right away, and it might be another 8 years. Well, it's already been 5, right? It's already been 5. So it's going to be like 13 years, right? They say it's coming, but are they in production? Is the studio big enough to be working on Red Dead Redemption 3 and Grand Theft Auto 6 at the exact same time? I don't know. It's been 10 years since the last Grand Theft Auto by the time it comes out. So it'll be interesting. But man, to think about Rockstar has to make a game once every decade. Well, once every 5 years. Once every 5 years, they drop a game, makes its billions of dollars off of it, and then they move on to the next one. Crazy. It's crazy. And Boo, what's going on? I'm not sure if I feel about Red Dead Redemption 3 or Red Dead Redemption 2 post-game, and more notably, it's online. Left much to desire. But the game itself, right? The game itself, Red Dead story, was phenomenal, right? The icing on the cake is the online. You don't have to play online, right? If you don't like the online, it's not desirable. That's fine. But the game itself, I thought, was phenomenal. It's in my top 5. Personally. The crux of it is to put zero effort into online. But is it zero effort? Like, there's so much to do inside an online game like that. I mean, to put more effort on a live service game, but the online, there was plenty to do. Like, and the world they built and what you can do in that game. Here's the thing. Here's the thing I want to kind of arise as a different topic, right? I'm playing Starfield right now. And what Bethesda does with Fallout, Skyrim, now Starfield, what Rockstar does with Grand Theft Auto Online, what they do for Red Dead Redemption, any other game that has like an online aspect of it, it's almost like you're no longer playing a game. You're enjoying the experience, right? You know what I mean? Like, the people that want to dive into that game, for instance, I haven't beaten the Starfield main campaign yet, but the reviewers and stuff, all the reviews that talk about, the main campaign is whatever. But Starfield's not judged on just the main campaign. It should be judged on the entire story of the game. And there's so many branches and so many different things. It's not just the main quest that makes Starfield, right? So people are giving it like, oh, the story is just mediocre. I've had some amazing adventures in Starfield. I've had some amazing adventures in Red Dead Online by taking different missions and stuff like that. So it's a little weird to say that it's, what you're saying, Travis, is that it's like, you know, bare bone type of stuff, right? I don't know. Could have just done what the first game did with this online. It would have been fine. I mean, but you don't have to. I don't understand the argument here. If you enjoyed Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption 2, and you don't like online, you don't have to play online. You literally just played Red Dead 2 again. Right? That's like, let's compare to Call of Duty. Right? Call of Duty has a single player game. And then the bonus is the PvP and now the Warzone and stuff. If you don't like the PvP and the Warzone, you don't have to play it. You can just play the story. Games need to be fun. That's priority number one. Well, they've accomplished that. Red Dead gave you, or Rockstar gave you Red Dead 1 and 2, and the stories were fun. But that's the problem. I play a game to have fun. Escapism is one of the things, but trying to act like they're a specific person is silly. To act like you are that specific person is silly. What I don't know where you're going, Travis. I wanted to love Red Dead Online. This is why I'm annoyed by it. It hurt me. And why isn't this a good as I wanted Bone? So you played the full story of Red Dead Redemption 2. And then you went into the icing on the cake of online, which is basically a standalone, and you're disappointed because the online wasn't what you wanted it to be? I wasn't a fan of Red Dead Online either. I wanted more. Yeah, but that was just the icing. I don't see that wasn't the game. That wasn't the game. That was the extra income that they were putting out in the game. The game was just the story. It says, I'm loving Starfield. Unfortunately, I'm in the crowd of Series X owners experiencing crashes roughly every 30 minutes. I have yet to have one crash. Let me knock on some wood. I have 0 crashes. And I haven't been looking because I've been lost in the world, derp. But I haven't heard anyone crashing on the X. I heard a couple crashes on the PC, but I've had 0. I've played for 34 hours in the amount of time since Thursday night. Not to say it's not happening. This is the first I'm hearing of the X crashing. Bethesda side quests are hella fun. Interesting. GTA is less, but still unique enough to engage. Red Dead Redemption 2 Online felt disengaging. Sure. I understand where you guys are coming from the online, but that wasn't the game. That was the bonus. That's sort of like, what's another game that came out? Was it Uncharted? Uncharted had the single player game, and then they had the PvP type of game, right? Like, whatever. Good morning, Mo. What's going on? You're telling me you didn't like the realistic horse balls? They actually shrunk and grew with the heat and the snow. I mean, come on. Travis, Red Dead 2 is still great. I was disappointed in the online part. I don't see it as a one full thing. I'd say Red Dead 2 is great online, not. But neither affects neither. That's my point. We're talking about Red Dead, the game itself, and you saying you got disappointed in the online, which is, I guess, fine, but they still gave you a solid. They still gave you a solid game. That's the game that you bought. You didn't buy the online. The online was a free online that was separate. You see what I'm saying? Your original comment was that it was lackluster. What was the word you used? I don't want to misquote you. Where did you say? You gave, hold on. Where is it, Travis? Oh. I can't find it. Oh, the crux, but zero effort. You said zero effort was put in the online. And the fact that they built this whole entire world of Red Dead Redemption, and then you can free roam it and then do whatever you want in that, to say zero effort, that's absurd. That's absurd. Water said, oh, good morning, Water. Starfield is one of those games that you just turn in and get lost in. You don't even need to do the main quest unless you want to, and you can literally spend hours on one planet exploring. We'll talk about that at the end of the 3 stories, Water. We're going to talk about Starfield a little bit. Red Dead 2 Online came after. They sold the game. Yeah. Someone's job at Rockstar was to specifically design those horse balls. Imagine having that on your resume. Yeah, I talked about that when it came out. I talked about that when it came out. I was like, imagine, what'd you do? I worked on Red Dead Redemption 2. Oh, man, that game is awesome. What did you do? I worked on the horse balls. I'm sorry, what? The horse balls. I studied. I went to hundreds and hundreds of farms, and I took a tape measure, and I wanted to see how much the scrotum would shrink and expand based on the cold and heat, because in our game we have the swampland and then we have like the snow so it was my job to make sure that the scrotum shrunk, and yeah, that's what I did. So like, they're like, good job. Good job on the ball shrinkage. Look, I am Red Dead Redemption 3. When I'm 55, when I'm 55, I'll love to play Red Dead Redemption 3. I love 2. I loved 1. I'll love 3, right? Because in my head right now, Red Dead Redemption 1 was one of my favorite games of all time. Top 5. Then 2 came out, top 5. Red Dead Redemption 3 is in that slot of, they automatically, as soon as it comes out, top 5, until they prove me otherwise. I don't care about the online stuff. I don't care about the Grand Theft Auto online stuff. Now, the problem with the online stuff is because people are spending money on it, like they do with Elder Scrolls Online. This is why there's not an Elder Scrolls 6. This is why there's not a Grand Theft Auto 6 earlier on, right? Because they just keep making money. Reese says, honestly, Red Dead Redemption horseballs designers probably got their personal immediately hired wherever they apply. That's right. They're like, oh, you did that? You did the balls on Red Dead horses? Dude, how did you do that? That is amazing. They're at the water cooler. Yeah, tell me how you did that. Really? Really? That's amazing. You had your eyes on the prize. I see always keep your eye on the balls, right? Well, if online was free, then it retract my judgment of the overall game to treat them as separate, which was the case. Red Dead Redemption 2 was great standalone game. Yeah, they didn't charge. Online was free. Now they did charge for online afterwards. That people didn't want to buy the single player game. I think the online version was like $15 or whatever, but the game was free. This is what I don't understand about. They gave you a full-fledged $60 game with like 100 hours of content, and then the online version like, just lackluster. It's kind of lazy. It's like, what? Really? Your speculation on GTA 6 might be correct. October teaser. The next year, release it. Dustin, I actually said I'll have to find it. but I've had it multiple times. Obviously, I've updated it. The last time I said something about Grand Theft Auto 6, I think I said they're going to announce it in October, and then it'll come out sometime next year. Large Reddit regarding both series consoles and PC players experiencing crashes. Yeah, I haven't had it. I'm just saying I haven't had a crash. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying I haven't had a crash. Yeah, you can buy it. But think about that, Travis. If you buy the game, you don't have to buy the online. If you just want to buy the online version, you can buy the online version. Online's free when you buy the game. October teaser, spring trailer, autumn release. Oh no, I think they show you a trailer in October. I think they announce it. They'll announce it on it's coming. Then the following week, they'll build up the hype. They'll show the original trailer, and then you'll wait for the spring trailer for the more detailed of what it is. And then I think you're right, but I think October, the teaser is the trailer, like the trailer. The internet will explode. All right, let's go to the last one here. Then we'll jump into Starfield conversation. All right, the third one, and this is two worlds combining for me. Okay, so I used to be in the film industry, say all the time. Worked in it for 20 years. PA, art department, grip. Moved up to camera department. Worked my way up into the industry. Actors Union announces plans to expand strike vote to video game studios. Now, this I don't agree with, but they're doing this because what's happening, I would assume, I haven't read the article, that actors that are not working, more actors are now going to voice acting for video games because they don't fall underneath the same thing. Okay. So SAG-AFTRA will ask members to vote on additional strike actions. The SAG-AFTRA strike has brought to several Hollywood productions to a standstill, could extend to video game industry. In a statement yesterday, the Actors Union, which has also been on strike since July 14th, announced that the National Board had voted unanimously to send strike authorizations vote to SAG-AFTRA members to preparation for the union's forthcoming bargaining dates, signatory video game companies. Quote, it has been nearly a year since the SAG-AFTRA video game contract was extended beyond the original expiration date and was negotiated with the companies for critical terms of SAG-AFTRA members needed. Unfortunately, throughout the negotiation, the companies have failed to address those needs. For this reason, the negotiation commitment of the National Board anonymously agreed that the union should have member-approved strike authorization in hand when bargaining resumes on September 26. This statement means that members will be allowed to vote on whether or not they wish to extend their ongoing strike to certain major video game companies with whom SAG-AFTRA has an agreement separated to film and television production companies. Even with the vote passed, however, it doesn't mean a strike is inevitable. SAG-AFTRA appears to be suggesting that they're merely bringing intention to the strike as a tool to heighten the bargaining power in the renegotiation. Now, SAG-AFTRA statement mentioned several major game developers, including Activision Blizzard, Marvel Spider-Man 2 studio Insomniac, and Epic Games Union presider Fran Dresser says that once again, we are facing employer greed and disrespect. Once again, artificial intelligence is putting our members in jeopardy, reducing their opportunity to work. The overlap of the two SAG-AFTRA contracts is no coincidence, but rather a predictable issue impacting the industry as well as any other all over the world. Now, the actors of the strike is unlikely to bring the video game industry to the same kind of standstill as the combined strikes between SAG and AFTRA and the Writers Guild of America in the U.S. Distribution should be limited to the acting staff rather than the developers, who do not have a coordinated union of the U.S. SAG-AFTRA influence also appears to be limited to certain American developers. And while Hollywood has significantly impacted global film and TV game studios can be found all over the world, with several in Europe, Asia, and wouldn't be directly affected by these strikes. Nevertheless, the issue for AI voice recreation has reared its head several times, with the actors hinting back to the studios that have attempted to gain the rights to their voices or reuse them without permission or payment. Last month, Smite and Paladin Studio Hi-Rez walked back terms of contract that would allow to continue to use actors' voices in the event in their deaths after significant backlash. So the SAG actors they're trying to push to get more negotiation bargaining agreements. Now, obviously, it only applies to the studios that are in America. Okay, for instance, if you're a part of SAG-AFTRA, but you're also part of the union in Europe, which misses what I forget what the name of it is, but the over in Europe, you could still work. Okay, if you're a voice actor here, you're part of AFTRA, but you're also part of the union for voice actors here. Then you're okay to right. You could go on the picket line for SAG and AFTRA, but then you go to work for the voice actors for a video game or whatnot. So this is interesting to see what happens as far as now. Here's what could happen, in my opinion. Okay, because of the AI voices. If the actors push, the unions push and say, well, you have to strike and you guys are part of this and you can't work, and there's games in production right now that are going to come out slated and they're in that moment of recording, two things could happen. They'll just get non-union people to do the voice actors, and then the voices will change and they'll just eat it, right? It might get downvoted by you or me, but going, the voice acting doesn't seem too good in this game, but whatever. Or they type it in to an AI system, and the AI systems are getting so good, you wouldn't even be able to tell the difference if it was an AI voice or a human voice. And this is what they're fighting for. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with the actors union. They're screwing themselves over right now in the film industry. So much so that the movie industry, I don't know if you guys heard about this, like Taylor Swift is capitalizing on what's happening right now with the movies bombing at the box office and whatnot. She's taking her concert and putting it into theaters, and she went and surpassed all the promoters and everything. She went directly to AMC and said, I would like to show my concert in your theaters for this time frame. And they're like, okay. She set the prices. I don't know the split. Okay, I don't know the split they're getting, but they're also filling in, and they don't have the full contract. So AMC doesn't have to keep her movie in the theaters during the slow periods. They just come in for the weekend, make the money, and then get the hell out, right? She surpasses everybody, and she makes money right back in her pocket. Her advertisement was literally her tweet to say that, hey, I'm putting my stuff in theaters on these dates. Go check it out. Genius. And it's going to wake up, and AMC, and I talked about AMC in the past. I said, how does the movie industry survive? How do they survive? They got to make stuff like this. Make people want to go to the theater for other things than just movies. Okay? They do the Phantom events and stuff, right? But those are really like low-key stuff. She's putting her concert, and it's only on Fridays and Saturdays. That's it. Friday and Saturday, I think, for like 2 weeks or whatever. For right now. Amazing, right? So actors are screwing themselves over because they can't promote their own stuff. Gran Turismo, we talked last week, is a fantastic movie. Can't make money. It's bombing at the box office right now. It's going to fail making money. Blue Beetle is absolutely dead in the water. Right? So these actors right now, and look, if you're an actor, you got to stand for what you believe in. But Gran Turismo right now, that 80 million worldwide. It's not even back to what it cost to make the film. I think it was 100 mil, 102 mil, like that. Okay, not making it. Okay, not making it. They're gonna have to keep it in there for months and months and months to make their money, or the DVD sales to make their money back to like production. Okay, Blue Beetle. Okay, Blue Beetle is an absolute travesty as well. Where is it? You can't even find it. Where is it? Is Blue Beetle not even on the list here? Oh my God. Is it that bad? Oh my God. Woo. They're losing like 200 million. Oh my God. They are They are losing a bunch of money. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. now, now this is not saying that Blue Beetle. I don't know if Blue Beetle is good or not. Right? I have no interest in Blue Beetle, but just like video games, just because something is not making money doesn't mean it's not a good thing, right? Just because also it makes a lot of money doesn't make the movie good or make the video game good. Right now, you told me, well, you either raise our pay and get rid of the AI or we walk. Look at the shitty writers and go, okay, walk. Metallica did that as well with their M72 tour. Oh, did they, Rose? I didn't hear about that. Did they do it like a limited weekend for the theaters? That's smart, man. And especially if you are an artist that goes on tour, but you don't want to tour so much, you can just record your thing, throw it in a theater, and then make the money from that. Smart. Yeah, Stray's that dog movie that we were gonna go watch it, but I was like, ooh, that's a lot of cursing in that. Yeah, Sarge, what she is doing, she is literally changing the landscape of the industry. Between her deals for think about this, right? I don't know if you guys know a lot about what she's done in the music industry, but she, business-wise, my wife tells me all the time, she's taken all her records that were underneath the labels and she re-recorded every single album and then released it on her own thing, right? So now when people buy them, nothing goes to the label. She's got her own. She redid all the music that she's did and all her. I think she's got like 5 or 8 albums. I don't even know. And she relaunched that to her fans, so the fans bought it again. Okay, she's the most profitable artist for concerts, like for the tour. And then now she's taking her thing and putting it in the theaters. When they told her, get this, she approached other people and promoters and stuff, and they said, well, now's not a good time. We'll put it in theaters in 2025. She said, no, thank you. She went directly to AMC and said, I'd like to make a deal with you guys to put it in theaters for this. And AMC's like, okay. Like, 2025. They didn't want to show her concert in theaters until 2025. You want an applause? There you go, Travis. That's for the, even though she's a multi-hundred millionaire. Okay. I think she'll be a billionaire. Okay. She is changing the landscape of what they're doing because of the power that she has with the fan base that she has. Actually, Metallica just surpassed her as the most profitable tour. One tour. Is that true, Rose? Let me go look it up. You're saying for their whole lifespan, or are you saying this last tour? Let's see. Let's bring up Metallica. When's the last time they had their tour? It says the last Metallica tour was in August 25th of 2019. Is that the last time they toured? September 23rd. They started in April. Oh, they started. Oh, this is the same. This is the same tour. This is the same tour. I'm on their website. This is their tour, right? Explorer show. Let's go to. Yeah, this is the same show, right? This is called their Explorer show. It's been going since 2019. Is that the same tour? They've been touring for 5 years. Look at this. April 18th, April 27th, right? Then the next page is April. And then the December. Right? They've never stopped touring. They've never stopped touring. Like, literally, they've been touring. No, they're currently on tour with Pantera. It just started. Okay, what show are you saying as fact that they just surpassed? That's what I'm looking up. So what's their tour? Because here, okay, let's see. Because just off the Google search, right? Just off Google search. Now, I'm not saying Google's 100%. Okay. It says here, as of qualifications for Metallica's ranking, Forbes points out that the world tour has grossed over $250 million since 2016. Okay. Since 2016. Okay. This article was written on September of 2019, right? So for 3 years, they've made $250 million since 2016. This right here was just her tour. This is her last tour that she did 5 years ago. Okay, was 53 shows, $345 million. That's her last tour, not even including this tour. Okay, was more than what theirs did. So are you saying that they surpassed her again? Okay, let's see. This one's called. No, they just had a massive show at Social that surpassed her. Do you have what it's called? Passed her in what capacity? For one single show? Full tour? Like, what is it? Like, there was a volleyball match that happened in California that had 92,000 people, which is the world's largest show for a women's sporting event, right? Like, are we talking about specific things? Like, that's what I want to know. They beat her attendance record at Social Stadium. Googled it, but you're talking about just one show. I'm talking about what she's doing for the whole thing. I mean, right now, Rose, it sounds like you're coming at this as you're a Metallic fan, and you're trying to up me on something that I have no buy. I'm neutral. I don't give a shit either side. I just know that she has the most successful tour right now. She's made the most money, more than anyone has ever made right now. And then you said that Metallica beat her, and then you said that they beat her in a stadium. But that's one show. I'm talking about the entire thing. Right, and it sounds like you are, because it sounds like you're coming at this like if I was talking about a Sony PlayStation game and an Xbox game, right? Right now, Metallica is PlayStation, and Taylor Swift is Xbox, right? And you're trying to be like, no, Metallica beat her, right? That's the way you're coming across right now. I think he meant attendance, not money. But I was talking about money, right? Right? I was talking about the most successful show ever, and he's like, they just beat her. So at this point, he's coming across. But that wasn't the conversation we were having. The conversation we were having was the money that she's making. I mean, Metallica holds the record anyway, right? Well, attendance equals money. Yeah. But what were they charging compared to what she's charging? You don't know what that is, right? But Metallica holds the most crowd from 1991. They had 1.6 million in the crowd at Moscow. Right? We weren't talking about crowd numbers. We were talking about the amount of money she made, and I already brought that up because she made almost $100 million more, right? Than she made on her last tour. She made 345.7 million, and Metallica on their last tour made 250 million in 3 years. She made in 1 year 345 million. Well, I paid personally $300 to see them on this tour, so I can speak on that number. But again, it doesn't matter about the one show. If you do 10 shows at 1 million people each, and they charge $100 a person, and somebody does 20 shows, okay, with 500,000 people with $101, okay, they're going to make more money. I would hate to be in the concert with that many people. 1.6 million? Yeah, I'll stay home. I'll stay home. Because at that point, if you have like the back seat or the way back in the field, you're literally watching specks in a stage and you're watching a Jumbotron. I'd rather just... I mean, the only reason you would go there is because of that just like I go to the theater, you want to feel that aura of the crowd, you know what I mean? Let's see. Okay. Let's put it in perspective here. Hold on. Let me get this because I would like to Okay. So Metallica's best tour ever. Okay. In 2018, the world tour reached another 67.9 million from 37 shows. Okay. 37 shows, 24 in Europe, 13 in North America, and the tour has grossed 426.9 million from 139 countries, 3 years since it began in 2016, and how the ninth highest grossing tour of all time. The tour ended on August 25th, 2019. That is, in Google, Metallica's most successful tour. Okay? Taylor Swift, highest grossing tour of Taylor Swift, 1.4 billion, and she's still touring. Okay? The one in the same time frame as her last one was 345 million, which Metallica made 426, so they did beat her there, but she made 1.4 billion this tour. So I don't care how many people were at the stadium. She made 1.4 billion. She's the only artist to break $1 billion. And I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. I am just reading facts. Let's see. Concerts 3 years ago. Let's see. Up until now, up until Elton John was the highest grossing tours of all time. Elton John had 939.1 million. Okay. He was the highest one ever. Ed Sheeran had 776 million. U2 736, Coldplay 617, Harry Styles 617, Guns N' Roses 584, Rolling Stones 558, Rolling Stones at 547, Coldplay at 524, Roger Walt at 459, right? Taylor Swift was like 14th, I think, something like that. Okay. And now there's a new king or queen. I'm trying to see here. Where's the stage performer doing 23 to prove what we need? As a matter of fact, yeah, she's made that. She's made that in just this year, 1.4 billion in just 2023. Where Elton John, according to this list, anyway, he made 939.1 million over 5 years. 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So in 6 years, he made 939.1 million. Okay. He did 330 shows in that time frame, which is triple the amount of third place, which is U2, okay, at 110 shows. They did 110 shows and made 736 million in 2 years. Elton John has toured for 6 years at 330 shows and made 939.1 million. Taylor Swift has done, I don't even know how many shows that she's done this year. I think it's 54 or something like that. 34, 54, something like that. Just this year. People make too much money? How do you put a limit on that? What do you mean people make too much money? They make as much money as they can because the market allows it. People make technically there's dogs and stuff that make about that much money as well on YouTube. So I think there's pets that make way too much money as well. Exactly, Enbu. People make as much money as the market bears. That's it. Anyone else think Baldur's Gate wins best narrative this year? Yeah, I could see that. I can see them winning for best storytelling narrative. This one dog named Brody, dude, just takes in the dog to the dog park, makes money. I think Brody actually lives in the city that my parents live in. I think he's in like West Palm Beach or South Florida or something like that. I think I know who you're talking about, boss. Only because my dad met him, I think, or watched a video or something. He told me about it. I think. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think he lives in Florida. This is the dog, right? I don't know. Is this the dog you're talking about? Oh, I agree, Travis. Baldur's Gate 3, in my opinion, will win Game of the Year. It'll probably win a bunch of awards. Which then, no, that's not the one. I think channel is Brody's World. Brody's World. Hold on, let me see. Is it a German Shepherd? No, that's not it because he doesn't have enough. He doesn't have enough. He doesn't have enough followers. No, bros. What you need to do is you need to take your dog to a Metallica concert. That's what you need to do. Film him a Metallica concert, then go to a dog park. That's what you need to do. Give him headphones though, because that music would just he'd be like, "What the hell?" Is it Brody that dude? Is that what it is? It's got to be. I'm looking at, yeah, this dude's got 4.58 million subscribers. It's got to be him. Yeah, it's you know what's crazy to me? God, this hits. Right? Is this the guy right here? It's the same dog. It's the same one. It's got to be this one. Yeah, it's in Florida. Yeah, he lives in South Florida. My dad said, I saw him in the car. I saw him in the car. I was like, I don't know who you're talking about. I was like, I have no idea who you're talking about. To think, right, that this channel has no shade, no shade to him, right? 4.58 million subscribers. This dude, holy Christ. Hold on. Here I am talking my ass off. Just to engage with people. And and this dog is making, oh my god. Hold on a second. Let me see what roughly what this rough, no pun intended. Let me see what he's. He makes monthly income. Monthly income. Does anybody want to take a guess? Quick guess. What the roughly income is for the YouTube channel. Again, this is rough. We don't know the exact. Okay. Roughly income of Brody. Travis says 5,000. Boss says 100K. Anybody else want to take a guess? If you take too long, it means you're looking it up. $50K, $100K, $200. I'm about to be pissed, aren't I? Oh, yes, Travis. You are. And this is just potentially what the ad revenue is on his channel, right? Ad revenue. Just to put it in perspective, each of his videos gets anywhere between like 64,000, 21,000. Let me see what his high ones: 82,000, 128,000, 154,000. So he's got one video that's 8.2 million. Let me see what the. Yeah, he gets about 40,000 views, 50,000 views. He's got a couple way up there. 403,000 million. Okay. He makes estimated 19.9 thousand up to 318,000 per month. Per month. So, the range for the year is 236,000 to 3.8 million. Well, it's not just the dog, right? He's filming, he's editing, he's doing all the stuff. You got to go on the stuff. You know what I mean? It's work. It's not easy, Travis. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Meanwhile, teachers are going poor. Well, if teachers make money the other way, if they were making money off ad revenue, I think teachers would be a different thing, wouldn't they? Entertainment is king. Television, acting, directing, producing, that's where they make money. You make something that people want to watch, people get paid. You know what I get paid in ad revenue? Watch out. Are you ready? Let me go back to the site. Based on ad revenue, because it's just based on ad revenue, right? Okay. What do you guys think I make just an ad revenue, right? Because that was just the number average of ad revenue off of his site. What do you think I'm making with 1,470 subscribers, with the views that I get? What do I make a month? Travis, if I made that, be skipping and fucking. I would leave right now to go get a coffee. Hellspawn, I wish. Are you ready? Per month. And you guys have no idea. Bros, you're about right. No. Estimated monthly earnings. Average between $2 and $34 for the year. for the year, $26 to $412. That's for ad revenue for this channel. Okay. The dog per minute makes more money than I make in a month. That's from ad revenue, though. That's from ad revenue. The support that you guys do for the memberships with the gifted subs and gifted memberships from all you guys and from actual memberships. So if you're a member or if you're doing gifted memberships, that's what I make. So your wife's the breadwinner? Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we decided that, Dolphin. I'm open about this. So I used to work in the film industry, and then when my son was born, he's just turned 9. I became the stay-at-home dad. So I always did like side jobs. I would take jobs here and there because when you work in the industry, you work, make good money, and then you don't work for a while, right? But then I became a stay-at-home dad. Did some stuff on the side. Oh, I'm not worried. It took me a while to get over it. So score 1 for equality. That's right. This was chosen. It was me or her, and we decided that I would stay because I wouldn't travel. Because if I worked, I would be gone. I'd be traveling. So then it would be a one person raising a person while, you know what I mean? Where I'm not around, where I stay home. She's got the consistent, works close to the house. We see each other all the time. You know what I mean? We're a family. One person's out around the world or whatever. So that's the deal. All right, let's talk about Starfield. Talk about Starfield. Okay, I gave criticism before the game came out, right? I said that Starfield, I hope it doesn't come out broke, buggy, or let's not. Oh, we are, Travis. I said if it comes out broken, buggy, or whatnot. And obviously for certain people, like Derp, he says that his is crashing and whatnot. I haven't experienced a crash. I had my first glitch after 34 hours. It happened almost exactly last night at the very end. I climbed up one of the ladders, and he got stuck in a ladder sequence, and then that was it, right? Other than that, I've had zero things that was a problem. Okay, we'll have this play in the background here while we talk. I'm a breadwinner, but it's just me, myself, and I. Well, congratulations, right? Okay. Now, Starfield to me is exactly, and I think this is where the crux of the argument is. A lot of people had expectations for this game that it was something that Todd said or Pete said, and their expectations were set by what they said. And everything that I heard the exact same things. And mine was, from the very beginning, I said, this is like Skyrim in space. This is like Fallout in space. And I said in the past, I said, if it's like those, I'm good. Right? For me, I'm enjoying this game like beyond that I thought I was going to enjoy, right? My expectations were exactly Dupless. Self-set expectations, right? My expectations were it was Fallout or Skyrim in space. Okay? And it's exactly that and more. Okay? I was critical of when they said the cutscenes of the ship taking off and seeing all the cutscenes and whatnot. Now, I'm specifically recording stuff to make it look like a television show, and I'm getting as much footage as possible, and I'm working on the episodes that I will be doing for the Captain's Log, The Adventures of Jack Burton, okay? I have to record. I have to basically beat the game and I'm playing through and doing different episodes and doing all this stuff, and I'm putting all this stuff together. So I'm playing it different than everybody else, right? I want to see the cutscenes. I want to see the ship taking off. People complain like, look, here's a load screen. How long was that load screen? Let's rewind, right? Let's rewind. Let's see. Cut through the door. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry, I paused it. My bad. Hold on. 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 seconds, right? 7 seconds. Okay. Now everyone's like, oh, there's so many load screens, so many things. And it's just, if you want to nitpick on stuff in any game, you could nitpick on stuff. Right? I think a lot of people blow it out of proportion. I think a lot more people hate this game because it's on Xbox and it's not on PlayStation. I think a lot of people hate this game because of what happened with Fallout 76 and not what it is for Starfield. A lot of people hate this game because they go in with this expectation that they're not hitting, right? And again, I'm not saying it's supposed to be rated 10 out of 10, right? For me, this game has been amazing, right? Amazing. Okay. I thought that I said there would be like a segment off the world where you go in space and you wouldn't be able to go around the planet. It's fine. The amount of stuff that happens in space is more than people think it is, right? They watch someone play and they're like, oh, all you do is just go to space and do this. Nothing happens. I've been invaded. I've docked to other places. I went to space stations. There's a whole like dungeon system. I went to a space station casino in zero gravity, right? There's like story elements. There's all of these things. People are complaining about the tiles that they're like, oh, well, it's just not exploring. There's nothing to do in the map. You're going in wanting to believe this stuff. But I'm telling you, this game is much, much better than what people are telling you it is. And if you're not a Fallout person, and you're not a Skyrim person, and you don't like Bethesda games, you probably won't like it. But if you loved Skyrim, and you love the Fallout games, okay, you would love this game, okay? I just learned that you don't have to go into the menu to travel to the shop. You just press LB and then A. Yes. So here's another thing. I watched a review of a person complaining that you have to go through this and there's all these. You don't have to if you don't want to. Personally, I walk up to the table inside my ship to go to the map. I go and walk through the ship to get out of the ship, right? You don't have to do that. You can literally exit your ship. You can actually do this. And there was another person complaining that there's so many load screens that you don't actually have to get in your ship. Okay, but you can if you want to. It's an RPG. So if you want to role play and feel the experience of going through the ship and flying the ship and doing that stuff, you can. Don't want to. You can literally just fast travel to space, fast travel to the planet, fast travel to this. You don't even have to walk. Once you visit somewhere, okay, you can fast travel back. Once you've explored the thing, you can fast travel back over there, right? They're marketed it wrong. They lied to us. What did they lie about, though, Silent Warrior? I agree. I was just saying that everyone who is complaining about this game is saying, oh, you're saying, yeah, but what did they lie about? I saw the same stuff everybody else saw. My expectations weren't, it was No Man's Sky. I was disappointed that certain aspects weren't like No Man's Sky as far as the traveling from the planet up to this. But I'll tell you, now that I play it, it's perfect. And here's why. If someone's playing No Man's Sky right now, the percentage of people that are exploring that entire planet to do whatever they want on that planet is almost slim to none. Okay? Now you can. Now the fact that you can explore entire planet in No Man's Sky is phenomenal. Okay? But the whole planet's the same. The whole planet's the same. You're going to find procedurally generated things across the whole field, okay, across the whole platform of the map. You're going to find the fauna and the same resources across the whole map. There's no rich story. Now, in this game, I land. It's the size of Skyrim. Okay? The map is the size of Skyrim. I run over to an outpost. And all of a sudden, I find a settlement. and a guy gives me a mission. I pick up stuff. I have to fight pirates. I have to do different things. Okay. And it's never the same because I actually messed up on one of the dialogue things. So I wanted to reset. So I resetted it. Okay. And then when I went back and, oh no, that's not what it was. The ladder thing. Right. So I went to this farm, got into the ship, tried to steal the ship. I got stuck on the ladder. I had to reset. Okay. My first and only glitch. When I went back to that same planet, when I loaded back in, I ran back up to the farm. There was no ship. There was no bad guys. And now there was a farmer there that gave me a mission. And then from that mission that I took, I had to transport guys to a different planet. And when I got to the other planet, I came across this other immaculate, amazing, like, side quest. Okay? No Man's Sky doesn't do that. No Man's Sky and Starfield are not the same. Right? Yes, there's resources and stuff. And I said in the back, well, you can make the comparison about the resource gathering and whatnot. Right? 100%. But I would rather take this curated RPG elements with story-driven content doing different things than doing what No Man's Sky does with its like, go find this language, no one's talking. Like, you literally feel like you're alive in this world, right? The load screen breaks immersion for me, so I don't feel it's a nitpick. Show me a game with no load screens. Now, you're going to say God of War, where you squeeze through the stuff and whatnot. Still a load screen, right? Still a load screen. You're doing nothing at that moment. 3 seconds. You know what I could do in the 3 to 7 seconds? I could drink. I can also drink while I'm playing the game as well, right? Obviously, it is a nitpick, and we can all nitpick. I nitpick on shit all the time. I literally had a conversation with Sarge. We nitpicked about this particular game, about how you're paying the realism about the wormholes that it creates, but you only have to pay the guys once to be on your crew, right? We literally nitpicked on that. I'm not a fan of Fallout at all, but somehow Starfield got me so hooked. And here's the best part. Here's the best part about people that most people that are talking crap about the game are not playing the game. And I think the injustice of it is not the people that are complaining because they haven't played, is the people that played it. Most of the reviews that played it talk about the game. ACG did the best job, in my opinion, because he talked about all the different aspects of the game. But most of the people score, whatever that is, if you care about the score. I personally don't. If it's a 10, if it's a 7, if it's a 3, whatever. But most of the people that give you their criticism about the game played the main campaign. But the main campaign is one line in a branch of a tree, because the Crimson Fleet story, which is not the main story, it's a side faction quest, is phenomenal. Okay? What's the other one? I just started it. The sheriff one. Freedom Stars. Okay? Fantastic quest. These are not the main story quests. This is just story in the actual game itself, right? So if you just do the main campaign, it's like Fallout 3, like Fallout 4. It's kind of short, okay? But that's the thing. If you're going to compare this game, you have to compare it to other Bethesda games. Other Bethesda games, it's the exact same MO as the other Bethesda games. The only difference is this is the most polished Bethesda game that they've ever released. The seamless flying into planets, No Man's Sky, load screen. Yeah, where you just sit there and it just... It's a load screen, right? I agree with you, 30. If you don't like Bethesda games, you're not going to like this. I have never liked their games. And that's understandable. That's understandable, right? If you don't like their games, then you don't like their games. But what I'm saying is, if people like those games, you're like, I don't like this because of Fallout, whatever. Or Angry Joe said this about the game. I'm telling you, man, there's something about this game. There's something about this game that I'm having an absolute blast. Main story, everything I try to do in the main story, I get sidetracked and end up in a distant system. Yeah, it's crazy. I just finished the Crimson Fleet story. Holy shit, that ramped up. That was epic. I haven't completed it completely, so don't say anything, right? But the stuff I've done so far, like, amazing. To me, it's just an average RPG. It's not changing the game like people say. It's not changing, and we talk about this all the time, right? We talk about the bar raising of RPGs, right? And what Baldur's Gate 3 did for RPGs raised the RPG genre, right? But this game was in development the exact same time as that game was being developed at the same time, right? So if they both came out, which they did at the exact same time, right? They've raised the bar. They were at the bar. Bethesda raised the bar of their RPGs on themselves, right? They raised the bar on Skyrim. They raised the bar on Fallout. This is the best RPG that Bethesda's made, okay? But they didn't raise the bar in the RPG genre. I'm not a Bethesda fan. I'm a fan of this game. You must be Rebel. What's going on, man? Yeah, this is I'm trying to. I've never. Okay, this is gonna be people are gonna be like, shut up, Dirty. There's no way. I talk about this all the time on my channel. One of my favorite games of all time, top 3, is Mass Effect 2. Okay, Mass Effect 2 is my favorite game of all time. Okay, absolutely love Mass Effect 2. I love the feel of being Shepard and walking through the ship and feeling like I'm a captain of the ship. I love using Shepard and doing the story with the companions and the story with the main quest, right? Absolutely loved Mass Effect. Okay. Absolutely love it. This game brings those exact same feelings for me personally as Mass Effect. And then it brings it up to the next level. Because in Mass Effect, I could go to certain places, but it was like on rails. Like you go to a certain area and whatever it is. This, I can go do what I want. And I'm okay with the curated map size or whatnot because I don't need to explore the entire planet. I don't need to go out in space and have unlimited space in front of me because the space that they're putting in front of me is engaging. Right? I warp in sometimes. I have a dogfight. I can dock at stations. There's missions and stuff to do inside the thing. I can haul stuff from one planet to the next. I can dock onto other ships. I can do raids like inside, not raids like a Destiny raid. Like a raid, I can dock and start taking over someone's ship, get parts, get credits, do a whole bunch of stuff. It's literally amazing, right? I think the only thing it's really missing. I'm trying to think of something that it's missing. Maybe no. I'm trying to think because going from like in the ship out of the ship is easy. Fast traveling is easy if you want to fast travel. I think the gaps maybe when you land, like if I have one point of interest to go to the next point of interest, but I'm not doing any kind of resources yet, right? There's plenty of resources between point A and point B. The gaps are maybe a little too long, which that's not really a bad thing though, right? I'll look at this footage and right now and not on the screen. I'll tell you what, and this happens a lot. The capture, and when you look at your own screen, I'm sure Water could vouch for it, and Mo and Dupless. Looking at when someone's playing it and seeing it on your own television set, it's completely two different things. I agree with things like weird big boss, akin to cardboard. That's a hard disagree. What are we talking about? Hold on one second. The main looks like everything looks like cardboard, and it looks so bland. It looks like Fallout 4 at best. But that's boss. Do you play Fallout? Do you play Bethesda games? Do you enjoy Skyrim? Do you enjoy Fallout? I do, and that's what's groundbreaking a long time ago. Okay. This is literally better graphics than what Bethesda did before. They'd literally done better than anything they've done before within Bethesda. I posted in chat that you can be up to 225 meters away from the ship and still use the cargo. Oh, nice. Once I lowered my expectations and thought it'd be more like Mass Effect game, it's been solid so far. I agree with you, 30. Yeah, it's raised the bar from RPG to what Mass Effect was. It is. It's like a Mass Effect, but bigger. More free, more free. Another big gripe for me is the planets feel too barren and empty. I disagree. Rose. The whole point is I found an actual I found a weapon. I found an exotic weapon here. You know what? Here, I'll turn my game on. I went to a random planet, right? I went to a random planet. I'm not lowering my standards because it's a Bethesda game. No one said lower your standards. I'm just saying your expectations for a company, and then to go to the next level to make this look like God of War. It's not the same studio. It's not the same engine, right? To raise the bar, they've raised the bar from other Bethesda games. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. My stream might lock down here. I can't do anything. Streamlab desktop is not responding. If you close the program, it might lose information. I might lose you guys in a second. Oh, come on. All right, I'm gonna have to close the program down and reopen it, so it should open up on the same thing. If not, it's gonna be a new stream. Give me 1 second.